Dr. Elena Vasquez pressed her palm against the cool metal wall of the research station, watching through the observation deck as the sleek ethery transport settled onto the landing pad of Galactic. 3 months of preparation had led to this moment, first diplomatic contact with a species known for their emotional distance and intellectual superiority. She straightened her uniform jacket, checking her translation device one final time. The airlock hissed open, and Elena's breath caught. The ethery emissary was unlike anything she'd imagined from the holographic briefings. Tall and graceful, with pale purple skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner light, she moved with fluid precision. Dark curly hair framed her face in an almost human way, contrasting beautifully with her otherworldly features. Her eyes, large and deep violet, scanned the docking bay with intelligent curiosity. Dr. Vasquez, the alien spoke in perfect standard, her voice carrying a melodic quality that made Elena's name sound like music. I am Kestara of the Ethery Diplomatic Corps. I understand you will be my linguistic liaison. Elena stepped forward, extending her hand in the human greeting she'd been advised to offer. Welcome to Galactic, Emissary Kestara. I'm honored to work with you. Kestara studied the outstretched hand for a moment before carefully placing her own against Elena's palm. The contact sent an unexpected warmth through Elena's skin, not just physical, but something deeper. Kestara's eyes widened slightly, as if she'd felt it too. Your research on pre-colonial ethery texts has been impressive, Kestara said, withdrawing her hand slowly. I was surprised to learn a human had achieved such understanding of our ancient dialects. Language is about connection, Elena replied, surprised by her own boldness. Understanding how people express their deepest thoughts and feelings, it's universal, isn't it? Something flickered across Kestara's expression, surprise, perhaps, or recognition. I had not considered that perspective. My people believe emotions are private matters. Maybe that's what makes them so powerful when they're shared, Elena said softly. Kestara's skin seemed to glow a little brighter, and Elena felt the first stirring of something that had nothing to do with diplomatic protocol. This was going to be far more complicated than she'd anticipated. Shall we begin our work? Kestara asked, but her voice had lost some of its formal edge. Elena nodded, already knowing that whatever began today would change everything. The research lab hummed with quiet efficiency as Elena and Kestara worked side by side, their third week of collaboration flowing with surprising ease. Ancient ethery texts scrolled across holographic displays, their crystalline script shimmering in the artificial light. Elena found herself stealing glances at Kestara's profile, watching how her skin's natural luminescence intensified when she was deeply focused. This passage, Kestara said, leaning closer to Elena's workstation, the translation seems incomplete. Elena's breath caught as Kestara's arm brushed against hers, the alien's skin warmed through the thin fabric of her sleeve. Show me, she managed, trying to focus on the text instead of the way Kestara's proximity made her pulse quicken. Kestara's finger traced the ancient symbols, and Elena noticed how delicate her hands were, long, graceful fingers that moved with artistic precision. Here, Thailandara, your database translates it as partnership, but in our oldest dialects, it means something deeper. A bond that transcends duty. Like, love? Elena asked softly, turning to meet Kestara's eyes. The purple glow of Kestara's skin brightened visibly. Love is a human concept. We ethery don't. She paused, her gaze dropping to Elena's lips before quickly looking away. We don't form such attachments outside our species. But you understand the concept, Elena pressed gently, reaching across to touch Kestara's hand. When you read these texts, you feel something, don't you? Kestara's fingers intertwined with Elena's, and for a moment, her composed facade cracked. On my world, I was always told I felt too much. That my emotional responses were excessive for an ethery. They sent me to the diplomatic corps because they thought interaction with other species might teach me proper detachment. Elena's heart ached at the loneliness in Kestara's voice. What if feeling deeply isn't a flaw? What if it's a gift? You make me want to believe that, Kestara whispered, her thumb tracing circles on Elena's palm. When you say my name, when you look at me like I'm more than just an alien curiosity, I feel things I've never experienced before. Elena lifted their joined hands, pressing a gentle kiss to Kastara's knuckles. The alien's skin flared with light at the contact, and Elena felt an answering warmth bloom in her chest. Elena, Kastara breathed, her voice thick with emotion. Their communication device chimed urgently, breaking the spell. Both women jerked apart as Commander Torres's voice crackled through the speaker. Dr. Vasquez, we need you in the briefing room. Priority 1. Elena stood reluctantly, her hand lingering on Kastara's shoulder. We'll continue this conversation, she promised. Kastara nodded, her skin still glowing softly. Yes, she whispered. We will. The safe house was barely more than a reinforced cave carved into Calirifor's rocky cliffs, but it was hidden from the rebel scanners that had forced their evacuation. Elena checked the perimeter sensors while Kastara worked to establish secure communications with the station. The diplomatic mission had taken a dangerous turn when anti-alien extremists had targeted the research facility. The main communication array is damaged, Kastara reported, frustration evident in her voice. We're cut off until the rescue team can locate us. Elena moved to where Kastara sat cross-legged on the floor, her portable equipment spread around her. How long do you think we have? Perhaps a day, maybe 2. Kastara's skin dimmed with worry. Elena, if something happens to me, the diplomatic relationship between our peoples. Nothing's going to happen to you, Elena interrupted, settling beside her. I won't let it. Kastara looked up, her violet eyes searching Elena's face. Why does my safety matter so much to you? This mission, our species alliance, surely that's more important than one individual. Elena reached out, cupping Kastara's face gently. Because you're not just any individual. You're brilliant, compassionate, and brave. You make me want to be better than I am. Kastara leaned into the touch, her skin warming under Elena's palm. Among my people, physical contact is rare. We communicate through shared consciousness, not this. She gestured between them. But with you, I crave these simple touches. Then don't deny yourself, Elena whispered, moving closer. Don't deny us. Their lips met in a kiss that was tentative at first, then deeper as Kastara's hands found Elena's hair. Elena marveled at how soft Kastara's mouth was, how her skin seemed to pulse with gentle light wherever they touched. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. Your skin, Elena murmured, tracing patterns along Kastara's neck and collarbone. It's beautiful when it glows like this. It responds to strong emotions, Kastara admitted shyly. I've never been able to control it around you. Elena kissed her way along Kastara's jaw to her ear. Good. I like knowing I affect you. Kastara's hands found the hem of Elena's shirt, her touch sending shivers through the human's body. Elena, I need to tell you something. This feeling between us, it's not just attraction. In my culture, when an ethery bonds with someone, it's permanent. Forever. Elena pulled back to look into Kastara's eyes. Are you saying you're bonding with me? I'm saying I already have, Kastara confessed. From the moment you touched my hand that first day. I've never felt anything like this connection. Elena's heart raced with joy and terror. Even knowing I'm human. Even knowing our worlds might not understand. Especially because of that, Kastara said, pulling Elena down for another kiss. You make me feel brave enough to choose love over duty. Outside, the wind howled through the canyon, but inside their shelter, 2 hearts beat as one. The shuttle bay felt colder than usual as Elena walked beside Kastara toward the gleaming ethery transport. Their mission had been a success, the diplomatic protocols were complete, the alliance secured, and the rebels neutralized. Everything they'd worked for had been achieved. So why did Elena feel like she was walking toward her own execution? Your government should be pleased with the cultural exchange data, Kastara said, her voice carefully neutral. Her skin had returned to its normal pale purple, the passionate glow Elena had grown to love carefully suppressed. Yes, Elena replied, matching Kestara's professional tone even as her heart shattered. The linguistic databases alone will advance our understanding by decades. They spoke like strangers, like the past 2 months hadn't happened. Like they hadn't held each other through the night after their rescue, whispering promises they both knew they couldn't keep. Elena's hands clenched into fists at her sides, fighting the urge to reach for Kestara one last time. The transport's loading ramp descended with a soft hiss. Kestara's diplomatic entourage began filing aboard, their own pale forms efficient and emotionless. Elena wondered if they could sense what was happening between her and Kestara, if they disapproved of their emissary's attachment to a human. Dr. Vasquez, Kestara said formally, extending her hand for a professional farewell. It has been educational working with you. Elena took the offered hand, feeling the familiar warmth that shot through her at Kestara's touch. For just a moment, Kestara's skin brightened before she quickly suppressed it. The honor was mine, emissary, Elena managed, her voice thick with unshed tears. Kestara turned toward the ramp, her shoulders straight with diplomatic composure. Elena watched her go, memorizing every detail, the way her dark curls caught the light, the graceful line of her neck, the subtle sway of her hips as she walked away from everything they'd shared. At the base of the ramp, Kestara stopped. She stood perfectly still for a long moment, her back to Elena, before slowly turning around. Her careful composure cracked, and Elena saw the pain in her violet eyes. "Can I ask you something before I go?" Kestara whispered, her voice barely audible over the transport's engines. Elena nodded, not trusting her voice. Kestara took a step closer, her skin beginning to glow despite her efforts to control it. "If I stayed, if I found a way to extend my assignment here, would you still look at me the same way when my glow fades? When I'm old and my skin loses its light, when I'm no longer exotic or fascinating, would you still want me then?" Elena's heart stopped. The question hung between them like a bridge, waiting for her to either cross it or let it burn. "Kestara," Elena breathed, seeing the vulnerability in her alien lover's eyes, the desperate hope she was trying to hide. The transport's warning chimes echoed through the bay. Time was running out, and Elena realized that her answer would determine not just Kestara's choice, but the rest of both their lives. Elena closed the distance between them in 3 quick steps, her hands framing Kestara's face as tears streamed down her cheeks. "You beautiful, incredible woman, don't you understand? I fell in love with your mind first, your heart second, and your soul third. Your glow, your skin, your alien nature, those are just bonuses." Kestara's composure shattered completely, her skin flaring with brilliant light as Elena continued, "When you're old and gray, when your skin doesn't glow anymore, when you're just Kestara without any of the exotic mystery, that's when I'll love you most. Because that's when you'll be completely, authentically you." "Elena," Kestara sobbed, her hands covering Elena's. "I've never felt this way about anyone. The thought of leaving you, of never seeing you again." "Then don't," Elena said firmly. "Stay. Find a way to stay." Kestara's eyes went wide. "The diplomatic corps would never." "There's a permanent xenolinguist position opening here," Elena interrupted. "The colony needs someone to help with ongoing cultural integration. I already spoke to Commander Torres about it." "You did what?" Kestara's glow intensified, hope blooming across her features. "I couldn't let you go without fighting for us," Elena confessed. "I put in a formal request for a joint humanitary research program. If you're willing, we could make this work." Kestara pulled Elena into a fierce kiss, her entire body radiating light. When they broke apart, both were laughing through their tears. "Yes," Kestara whispered against Elena's lips. "Yes, I'll stay. I'll find a way to make it work." Elena spun her around, both of them oblivious to the curious stares of the transport crew. "I love you," Elena said as she set Kestara down. "All of you. Forever." "Thalandara," Kestara replied, her skin glowing with joy. My eternal bond. Elena kissed her again, pouring all her love and promise into the contact. I like the sound of that. 6 months later. Elena woke to find Kastara already up, sitting by the window of their shared quarters with a cup of tea, her skin glowing softly in the morning light. They'd faced challenges, skeptical colleagues, complicated paperwork, cultural misunderstandings, but they'd faced them together. Good morning, beautiful, Elena murmured, wrapping her arms around Kastara from behind. Good morning, Valterra, Kastara replied, leaning back into Elena's embrace. Beloved. Elena smiled, pressing a kiss to the top of Kastara's head. No regrets? Never, Kastara said, her hand finding Elena's. You taught me that love isn't about perfection or permanence. It's about choosing each other, every single day. Then I choose you, Elena whispered. Today and always. Kastara's skin flared with brilliant light, a beacon of their love that would shine for all the worlds to see. And I choose you, Elena Vasquez. Forever and always. Outside their window, two worlds continued their dance around distant stars, but inside their sanctuary, two hearts beat as one, proof that love truly was universal.